Part 2. My sister-in-law always treated me like dirt, but when she crashed my wedding and ruined my dress, nobody expected what my mother-in-law did next. The look on her face when the inheritance was announced made everything worth it. She declared that Tom would receive 75% of her estate, while Jane would only receive 25%. She said she couldn't in good conscience reward such cruel behavior, and that Jane needed to learn there were consequences to treating people badly. Jane's face turned white. She started screaming about how unfair it was and how I had stolen her family from her. She had to be escorted out by security while she was still yelling about how I had ruined everything. Tom's dad even stepped in and said he agreed completely with Sarah's decision. It's been 2 weeks since the wedding, and things have gotten complicated. Jane has been texting me constantly, alternating between apologizing and threatening me. She's convinced that if I just talk to Sarah, everything will go back to normal. Tom has blocked her number and says he's done with her until she gets professional help. Sarah is standing firm on her decision. I feel guilty sometimes. I never wanted to come between siblings or cause family drama. But another part of me feels relieved that someone finally stood up to Jane's bullying. Tom says I shouldn't feel guilty because this was Jane's choice, and she's facing the consequences of her own actions. Update 1. Thank you all for your supportive comments. A lot has happened in the past week, and I needed time to process everything before updating. Jane's behavior has gotten worse. She showed up at my workplace last Tuesday, causing a huge scene in front of my students and their parents. She was screaming about how I had manipulated her mother and stolen her brother. The school had to call the police, and I was mortified. Some parents recorded the whole thing, and it went viral in our local community Facebook groups. In the video, you can clearly hear Jane screaming about how I stole everything from her and how I manipulated everyone into hating her. The worst part was that my students were terrified. These are 5-year-olds who had to watch their teacher being verbally attacked by a screaming woman. One little girl started crying because she thought Jane was going to hurt me. It took days to restore a sense of safety and normalcy in my classroom. The silver lining? My principal and the parents have been incredibly supportive. My principal, Mrs. Rodriguez, immediately implemented new security protocols and sent a letter to all parents explaining the situation while emphasizing the school's commitment to maintaining a safe environment. The parents organized a surprise "We Love Ms. My Name" day where the kids all brought in handmade cards and their parents brought breakfast treats. One mom, a lawyer, even offered to help with a restraining order pro bono. Several parents wrote detailed statements about Jane's behavior at the school, which proved invaluable in court. They've all witnessed firsthand what I've been dealing with, and several parents have written letters supporting me in case I need to file for a restraining order. Tom is beyond furious. He's hired a lawyer and we're in the process of filing for a restraining order against Jane. During her visit yesterday, Sarah opened up about Jane's childhood in a way she never had before. Over a cup of tea, she shared stories that helped explain, but not excuse, Jane's behavior. Apparently, when Jane was 7, their father had a brief affair that nearly broke up the marriage. Though they worked through it, Jane developed severe abandonment and trust issues. She became extremely possessive of her family, especially her father and brother. Sarah and her husband tried family therapy back then, but stopped when Jane seemed to improve. Now Sarah realizes they should have continued, as Jane had simply gotten better at hiding her issues rather than actually dealing with them. She revealed that Jane has always had issues with jealousy and control, but they had enabled her by giving in to her demands to keep the peace. Update 2. The situation has escalated significantly in ways I never could have imagined. After multiple court appearances and providing extensive documentation of Jane's harassment, we successfully got the restraining order against her. The judge was particularly concerned about the incident at my school, saying that bringing harassment into a place with young children showed a disturbing lack of boundaries. But rather than serving as a wake-up call, the restraining order seems to have pushed Jane over the edge. She became obsessed with the idea that I had stolen her family and was determined to expose me. She created multiple fake social media accounts to harass me, even tried to get me fired by sending fake complaints to my school board. Thankfully, we had documentation of everything, and the school board saw right through it. They've been incredibly understanding and have even hired additional security for the school. Sarah has also taken action. She's now officially updated her will, and has made it clear to Jane that if she continues this behavior, she'll be completely cut out. The most surprising development? Jane's husband Mark reached out to Tom yesterday, asking to meet at a coffee shop away from their usual haunts. Over 3 hours of conversation, he apologized for not stepping in sooner and revealed that he's filing for divorce. He showed Tom messages and videos Jane had sent him, ranting about conspiracy theories involving me and her mother. He explained that he tried to get Jane to seek help for months, even before the wedding incident, but she'd refused every time, insisting that she was the only sane one and everyone else was against her. The final straw came when she started telling their children that I was an evil woman who was trying to destroy their family. He couldn't bear to watch his kids being poisoned by such toxic behavior. He said he can't watch Jane self-destruct like this, and needs to protect their kids from her toxic behavior. He's been documenting everything for their custody case. Update 3. It's been 3 months since my last update, and I can finally share some positive news. Jane has agreed to enter therapy after her husband filed for divorce and got temporary full custody of their kids. The wake-up call of losing her children seems to have finally gotten through to her. Sarah arranged for family counseling sessions, but Tom and I have declined to participate for now. It wasn't an easy decision. We both want to believe in reconciliation and healing. But after consulting with our own therapist, we realized that jumping into family therapy before Jane has done significant individual work could actually be counterproductive. Our therapist pointed out that Jane's pattern of behavior suggests deep-seated issues that need to be addressed first. We've agreed that we need to see real, consistent change from Jane before we can consider rebuilding any kind of relationship. Her therapist has reached out to say that Jane is making progress and beginning to understand the impact of her actions. The wedding dress? A local restoration specialist was able to save it. Sarah insisted on paying for the restoration as part of her apology for not addressing Jane's behavior sooner. She's become like a real mother to me, and our relationship has grown even stronger through all of this.